So thanks so much for joining us today for the Virtually Awful Concours des Le Mans. And today we are judging the most dangerous class. This isn't a class you're going to find at a lot of concours, but we're not most concours. We are the worst concours there is in the world, but we have some of the best judges in the world. And with me today is my chief judge, Tim Suddard from Classic Motorsports Magazine. Thanks for putting this group of rogues together for us, Tim.
No, it's been a lot of fun. I love talking to these guys. Become friends over the years. When this class is fantastic because I don't know how many times I've nearly killed myself in a project car, you know, that first test drive or racing, or I don't even know how I'm still alive after all these cars I've built.
Well, thank God you are, and thank you for being here. Also, thank you for being here, Tom Cotter, the Barn Find Hunter. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm well, and you know, I'm the guy qualified to judge pieces of shit because I run across them all the time.
There you go. Well,
professional.
And speaking of dangerous, we have probably the most dangerous judge we've ever had at a Concours des Le Mans. Lead singer for a little jazz combo you may have heard of, Brian Johnson. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing fine, thanks. I'm just, it's the first time I've done this. I'm quite excited about it, you know, with some real top dudes in the car business, and I love cars, and I just love listening to these guys.
Well,
you know,
it's going to be all
stuff. You
know? It's going to be all downhill from here because this is about
Absolutely.
as good as it gets. So, so without further ado, let's dive right into the most dangerous class, and we'll get these pictures up for you to see here. A four-door convertible Corvette. Now, the main question is why.
Yeah.
Why would you do this?
Chevy doesn't make any four-door cars. You got to build your own.
Oh God, I wouldn't be seen dead in that thing. I'm sorry about that, lad. Whoever owns it, I'm sure it's your pride and joy. But
Just imagine how the guy dresses who drives that car. You know, I mean, gold chains, and Gucci.
Yeah, it definitely comes from the Ray Charles School of Design.
Indeed. Well, and next up in our most dangerous class is a Buick Riata that actually injured the owner. It popped out of gear and rolled over him while he was working on it. So that is of note. And
it's a tombstone.
Exactly. We have I believe this is a 1927 Chevy pickup truck with no top. It was built out of 3 different trucks put together, still has 75-year-old tires on it.
Well, that would get my sphincter moving like a squirrel's nose if I drove that thing. I can just tell right now, it'd be scare the hell out of you.
A Lincoln Continental that has been Mustang swapped in the front end, because that's what you want to do, is give a Lincoln Continental loads and loads of power.
Didn't that thing come with essentially a Mustang engine? I mean, that seems like a lot of work for nothing.
So next up, we have this. I actually don't even know what this is. Oh, actually I do. This used to be a pony car. It had a horse on the top that when you lifted the tail, the horse pooped out ding-dongs for the kids. It's attended Lemons shows before and has now been reimagined as this monstrosity with lots of bricks of foam. There we go.
That's class, isn't it?
Yeah, that's class.
Low class. And parked in front of a Denny's. That's perfect.
It looks like the new Tesla SUV.
Oh, ouch. This is a 1959 Deutsche Bonnet. Deutsche Bonnet.
As in
that is,
I just sorry, I can hear you.
This is a Deutsche Bonnet, and it originally came with an 850cc 2-cylinder motor, but the owner has gone and stuffed a V8 in it and jacked it up on an aluminum chassis.
Wow.
Better road holding.
That
Yes.
Dangerous. That could really be dangerous, that thing. I've got a funny feeling that you give that a little bit squirt around and you're going to go with it. It looks a bit like a frog with a carrot jammed up its rectum. A frog. If you can just picture it. I know I've got a strange imagination, but you know,
No, we never say that about you.
I like the Studebaker station wagon behind it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Because when you have one of these, of course you have a Studebaker station wagon, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Look, it's just strange looking little thing. It's trying to be an old English, 60s sports car. It just didn't quite pull it off.
Yeah. It's like it's half sports car, half fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But is it dangerous? I mean, you could.
Oh,
That motor, yeah.
Yeah.
That motor, yeah. That's
Absolutely.
nothing good's going to happen there.
Okay. All right, moving on. We have a.
Oh, I know that car. That car's been to my Woody party.
Some things you should keep to yourself.
Yeah, that just proves what it was like when you were on drugs. That's what happened there.
We have a deux chevaux with a traction avant fiberglass front and a wagon back on it, because why wouldn't you?
Tom, why
Why that took effort?
No, I like it.
Now there's the interior.
I think it's quite. It shouldn't be here. That's because it'll only do what, 40 miles an hour with a wind behind it.
Yeah.
Well, here's a picture of the last owner. So.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next most dangerous car, we have a Trabant. Now, if you're not familiar with the Trabants, they are an East German car. You had to wait years to get one of these cars. They were a 2-stroke engine that smoked profusely. They have evil handling characteristics, and the body panels were made out of cotton mill waste and glue. It was this panel that they made, and they found that the rats and mice would chew on the panels. So they started infusing it with DDT. So the car is actually toxic.
Yeah.
I was over in Germany and looked at one of those, and they told me it was made of soiled diapers.
Yeah. And horses' hooves. But I've got to tell you, when I was in Berlin there's a company that hire them out. Yeah. And I thought, I just have to drive this, this iconic communist piece of poop. And I took it out, and Tommy, I'm going to tell you, buddy, it was frightening how they sold this to a complete population of communist people. So just anybody, this is not a political party broadcast, but don't ever turn commie, because that's what you get.
If there was ever an endorsement for not being communist, I think that car is it.
Correct now.
All right, let's move on to our next entry. This is the AutoZam. Now, what makes this particularly dangerous is look at those gull wing doors. What do you think happens when you roll over?
Not much.
Now, the only upside is if you do roll over in this car, it's small enough that just probably by shifting your body weight, you could roll it over again and get it upright.
Is that a Japanese car?
Yes, it is. It's a 1992 AutoZam AZ1. Mazda, they came from Mazda. They only sold about 4,000 of them in the Japanese market.
Tom, it reminds me of that smart roadster we toured Italy in.
It does. You're right. Is that a rotary or is it piston motor?
I believe it's a piston motor.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up on most dangerous, this comes to us from the National Motoring Museum in Birdwood, Australia. Some of our fans from down under, we do a Concours des Le Mans down there that's wildly popular. And this is a Lightburn Zeta sports car. Lightburn was a washing machine manufacturer, and then they decided, hey, let's get into making cars, because that's the next logical thing you do once you've made washing machines, is start to make a car. It was made in Adelaide, South Australia, and they made several versions of it. They made a sedan, they made a wagon, and they made a sports car, which is what you're seeing here. and it's this fiberglass body over a light tube steel frame with a little Villers 2-stroke engine in it, and you were supposed to drive sporty in this thing.
Did they make any good-looking cars?
No, none.
You know, but
Absolutely
it's
none.
almost homey enough that you have to love it. You know.
Yeah, it looks like a frog again, but this time replace the carrot with a boomerang. You know, but I mean, you know, I bet it was cheap, cheerful, and you know, if you were a
Badly built, unreliable. And
yeah,
slow.
pretty horrible.
Well, I got to tell you, these came out right before the Mini hit. So once the Mini hit, the Lightburn Zetas were just done, because I think the Mini was 50 pounds more, and you could get one of those instead of a Lightburn Zeta. So they didn't make too many of them.
It's funny, all the English Ford specials and all that stuff went away as soon as the Sprite and the Mini came out. Because I mean, talk about bringing out a car that had basically no competition. It was a whole new segment.
Yep.
Well, at least no real players in the segment.
Now, let me ask you: is this literally the most like dangerous cars to drive, or is it like the world's most dangerous band? You know,
either way, it could be the world's most dangerous band, or the one that you're most likely to really get hurt in, or hurt near.
That car looks like you could 30 mile an hour smashing that car. You could really hurt yourself.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Yep.
You know,
all
it's
right.
a Reliant Robin in England. Those
Yes.
3-wheel death traps. You know. They just looked so cheap and cheerful and lovely and cuddly, and then, you know, you just take a corner a little bit too fast, you're over.
I had a Berkeley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Berkeley.
Well, Tom, you've got a Berkeley.
my son's got 2.5 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for your consideration, we have the 4-door convertible Corvette. We have the Buick Riata that ran over its owner. We have the 1927 Chevy cattle truck with virtually no tires left, but they're 75 years old. We have the Lincoln that's hopped up with a hot Mustang motor. We have the blue thing that used to be a car with a horse on it that now is clad up something. I'm not even sure what it is. We have the Deutsche Bonnet with a huge V8 stuffed in it. We have the Du Chevaux with a traction avant front end. And we have the AutoZam with gull-wing doors with no hope of getting out when you roll over. And the Lightburn Zeta. So any of them float to the top right as first thoughts of, gee, that's the most dangerous.
It's your
Brian,
class.
what would be your number one choice of all those?
You know, for me, it would have to be the old Chevy truck, because you've got more chance of dying than that in a heartbeat. I mean, honestly, you just probably go 100 yards and could be seriously injured with a little light bruising, let's put it that way. But also the Lincoln looks a bit too safe underneath. But I'm sorry, I'm going the other way. I would say that in the Buick.
Wow.
The Buick that already injured its owner. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's already proved its point without turning a wheel.
Tom,
think, Tom?
your initial impressions?
Well, yeah, it's interesting about the Buick. It's like having a dog, and if you go to pet it, it bites your hand off. You know, like the Buick. I didn't consider either one of. So what I'm not taking it literally dangerous. I'm just talking about kind of insane dangerous. I have 4. The DB with the V8, that weird blue van, the Trabant, and the Lightburn Zeta. So that's just 4 of my choices for like kind of automotive.
Yeah, the Trabant. I'm sorry, I hadn't got the Trabant written down here. Trabant, absolutely. That's more like an explosive device than a car.
So what kills you, the DDT or the carbon monoxide poisoning?
Yeah.
No, really.
Oh, hazmat suit to drive one of those things.
Yeah, so you could either kill somebody or kill yourself at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. That brings it up. That's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I think that's my choice.
Okay. The Trabant. Is
Yeah.
that a viable choice, Brian?
Well, absolutely, it's a viable choice. Very closely followed though by that Chevy, just because it looks dangerous. You know? And as my dad used to say, if it looks the part, it usually is.
Indeed. Well, I think the Trabant came up on everyone's list and floated towards the top. So I'm hearing that may be our pick.
What about Tim?
I think that's a defensible choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, will that go on nationwide tour to auto shows now?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. I don't think that could go on a neighborhood tour. That's the problem.
Could Brian appear on stage with that car?
No, I don't think anybody would never make it up the ramp.
Oh man. Okay, well, I think we have our winner for the most dangerous car is the East German Trabant, a car that could kill you via fumes, could kill you via DDT, or kill you through its awful handling. A very worthy choice.
Well,
Lack
plus
of brakes is a good point.
it's so slow you'll get hit from behind if you do get it running.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, I'd like to.
You're a cruel man, Tim.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for participating in this. Especially like to thank our sponsors for making all this stupidity possible. Haggerty, Classic Motorsports Magazine, eBay Motors, and Griot's Garage. The owner of this vehicle gets a $300 eBay gift card and a car care product pack from Griot's to keep that fantastic paint job in top nick. And I'd like to thank our celebrity judges here. Tom Cotter, thank you so much for being with us. And Brian Johnson, thank you so much for taking the time. And Tim Suddard, I'm sure one of these days you'll wise up and not do this anymore. So
Probably.
on second thought, probably not. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you in the next class.
Appreciate your help.
Thank you, Alan. Thanks, guys. We'll see you now. That was
Thank
real
you, Brian.
fun. Thanks.
See you, Brian.
Thanks, buddy. I hope I see you soon.